Tonight at 6 on TV2 News, it's Farmer Appreciation Week, what some farmers are doing across our area to celebrate.
A tanker truck collision in Toledo leaves spillage in the sewer system. More details on the accident.
In a historical arraignment, Donald Trump is now in New York City. What charges is he facing and what it means for the future of American politics?
And what can Disney say except you're welcome? What live-action adaptation is in development, and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Tuesday evening in Portage County, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Nuried, Hurtado.
And I'm Josh Aponte.
We start tonight recognizing farmers during Farmers Appreciation Week.
That's right. Our own reporter, Gabby Jonas, visited farms around Portage County to learn more. Hi, Gabby.
Yeah, hi guys. Yes, during this week's National Farm Worker Appreciation Week, I went and spoke with local farmers at Birdsong Farms and Goodale Farms about the importance of farming in the Portage County community.
Yesterday we started planting outdoors.
As spring weather starts to bloom in Portage County, so do farmers' crops. During National Farm Worker Awareness Week, Nathan Herbrook is kicking into gear with his leafy greens on Birdsong's 5-acre organic farm.
Everything from like spinach and kale and chard down to like salad mixes and a lot of Asian greens and mustards and arugula salad mixes.
And since 1825, right down the road at Goodale Farms, generations later, Nathan Goodale says he is proudly cleaning up from a busy maple harvesting season.
Usually in our woods, we're talking maybe 50 to 60 gallons of sap to get 1 gallon of syrup. All syrup is graded into different categories. Golden, delicate, amber rich, dark robust, and very dark strong are the 4 grades.
But for Herbrook, being a farmer for over 28 years, he says he's passionate about educating the community on climate change and pushing the agricultural industry in a more sustainable direction.
I'm a big believer in small farms and regenerative agriculture being able to address climate change in a very effective way. I think we can help address and help to start reversing some of the negative effects that we're seeing from climate change if we start producing food in a more ecologically sensitive way.
Now, what you see right here are permanent onion beds, and here at Birdsong Farms, they produce over 8,000 onions per year by just taking one of these tiny seedlings, plopping them into one of these holes, pounding them up until they're ready to harvest in 4 months' time.
Every day, it's what's nice is every day is so different. It sounds cheesy, but like when people at farmers markets thank me and seem appreciative of the produce or of what I do, kind of maybe how I grow the produce, that's probably like that kind of what keeps us going. And
for Goodale, it's the tradition and also a sweet treat.
Well, it can't beat pancakes, of course, that's the old favorite, but you know, my favorite is a vanilla ice cream, putting syrup on vanilla ice cream. It's hard to beat that.
The Environmental Protection Agency's mission is to protect human health and the environment while recognizing the hard work that farmers like Birdsong Farm and Goodale Farm are providing for the people in our communities. Reporting live in Franklin Hall, I'm Gabby Jonas, TV2 News.
Thank you, Gabby. Talking about communities, the city of Kent will hold its regular flea and makers market this upcoming Saturday. The market is meant to celebrate everything unique Northeast Ohio, including artists, collectors, bakers, and craft people selling their handcraft or upcycle items. Items on sale include jewelry, soy candies, wood art, pottery, and handmade glass. Of course, there are plenty of snacks on sale too. The market will be open on Saturday, April 8 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion announced the release of the 2021 climate study on race with preliminary information on the results. 5,800 respondents were surveyed across the campus about different occurrences on campus, including the racial vandalism painted on the rock back in 2020 and why students consider leaving the university. The current analysis says most students were unsurprised by the rock incident and felt uneasy. However, many people also said it changed their perceptions of the community. The Division of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion will hold a press conference on April 12th to fully release the survey results and provide more information.
And April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. SAAM is a national campaign that raises awareness and promotes education about sexual harassment, sexual violence, and how to prevent it. Kent State Sexual and Relationship Violence Support Services will have events starting on April 13th with Gather and Give Back. Also, SRVSS will hold a Gender Equity Today event and Flashes Give Back Week from April 17 to April 22nd.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Abby Forbes, your Tuesday weather anchor, and we're finally seeing some of those spring warm temperatures out there. Let's take a closer look at right now in Kent. It is 69 degrees and it feels exactly like it is out there. However, we do have some winds that will occasionally come by and give you a little bit of a chill, but for the most part, it's feeling pretty warm out there right now, with it being mostly cloudy, with a little bit of sun, and with that visibility being at 10 miles per hour, we're looking at a pretty clear night. So looking more into tonight and into tomorrow morning, we have it dropping a little bit to 68 degrees around 7 p.m. right after the newscast. And at midnight, it's going to drop down to 62. And tomorrow morning, we might have some isolated thunderstorms, and that temperature will be at 65 degrees for that when we wake up tomorrow morning. However, the thunderstorms are going to come into play later in the day for sure tomorrow, but I will get to that a little bit later. First, let's look at the rest of tonight a little bit closer. It's gonna, like I said, drop to 68 degrees and be partly cloudy. The humidity is gonna be 52%, so it is gonna feel a little bit wet out there with the winds going at 6 miles per hour and the sun setting shortly after the newscast. But that's all I have for right now, but we'll be taking a closer look at that severe weather headed our way later in the newscast. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Abby. The city of Akron and its community leaders prepare for the grand jury decision on the 8 officers involved in the Jalen Walker shooting. The officers shot Walker over 40 times, killing him after following a car and foot chase on June 27th. Protests followed the shooting last summer, some causing damage to downtown businesses and multiple arrests. The grand jury case will take place on April 10th to determine if the officers will face criminal charges.
And there are updates on the Manaway Police Department investigation on Police Chief Joseph Urso. A private investigator said that Urso violated police department policies by directly supervising an officer with whom he is in a romantic relationship. The investigation found that the Village Police Department policy manual forbids employees from directly supervising a person they are dating.
New law allows officers to pull over distracted drivers without a traffic infraction.
And Finland officially joined NATO, ending 7 decades of military non-alignment. What it means for the rest of the world.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. Supreme Court rulings, new cell phone laws, and major gas leaks are just some of the headlines coming out of Ohio.
That's right. Now joining us is TV2's Anthony Leonardi with your latest news in the Buckeye State. Hi, Anthony.
Thanks, guys. The new distracted driving law in Ohio is taking effect statewide starting this week. Governor Mike DeWine held a press conference discussing the new rules yesterday alongside some who have been hurt by distracted driving.
I'm not sure about you, but I can't think of anything that I've ever done at any point on my phone that is worth hurting or killing myself or someone else over. Can you?
Driving is already illegal. However, the new law will make it easier for officers to pull over drivers because a traffic infraction is no longer needed before the stop. While the law is aimed to be more strict on distracted drivers, there are exceptions, including emergency calls to police, hospitals, and fire departments. Phone calls held to the ear or on speaker are also permitted under the new law. And navigation use is also allowed as long as you aren't actively typing the destination. And Ohioans' legal ability to change their sex markers on their birth certificate is in the hands of the Ohio Supreme Court. The justices heard oral arguments in the case of Haley Adelaide, a transgender woman whose request for an amended birth certificate was denied by her local probate court in 2021. In 2020, the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Ohio ruled that the Health Department's policy violated the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. And in Toledo, Ohio, officials say over 1,500 gallons of fuel spilled into the sewer system in the city after a tanker truck collided with a dumpster on Saturday. The tanker truck was transporting both diesel fuel and gasoline. And according to authorities from the Environmental Services, the fuel will flow directly into the city's water reclamation system and then be remediated. The fuel was contained to the sewer system and the public waterway is untouched.
Upon my arrival, there was a large tree that had fallen across the north side of the house, south side of the house, and had a victim trapped in there on the couch. We had 5 different departments out there, I believe, various tasks, cutting away tree and trying to move some of the debris so we can get to the victim.
A 13-year-old boy died in Leavittsburg, Ohio after a tree fell onto his home during a storm on Saturday. His name was Brenton Hemberger. The fire department called neighboring agencies to help rescue Hemberger from his home, and the rescue took 3 hours, and a crane was brought in to move in wreckage and a large oak tree. Counselors were made available at LeBray High School for grieving students and staff. For more updates, be sure to check out KentWire.com. Reporting from the Franklin Hall studio, I'm Anthony Leonardi, TV2 News.
Tomorrow's news lead.
Top stories
From an award-winning
The
student
National
newsroom.
Weather Service
This is
issued
TV2
a starters
News.
weather outlook for Northeast Ohio in the coming days, although the rest of today and tomorrow are supposed to remain clear.
The National Weather Service says we can expect to see storms develop across the region from Wednesday all the way into the next week, and that there is a potential for a severe weather advisory. Now let's see what our weather anchor Abby Forbes can tell us about the coming week.
Yeah, and we're going to see some more severe weather tomorrow. But first, let's take a closer look across Ohio tonight. So right now, looking at Northeast Ohio, we can see that down in Mansfield, it's about the same as it is here in Kent. More south a little bit in Worcester and Canton, it's at 70 degrees. Up towards the lake, it will be a little chillier at 45, 57, and 55 up there. So moving into the rest of Ohio, we can see how the temperatures get a little bit warmer as we go more towards the west. We got 70 in Lima, 74 in Dayton, 76 down in Cincinnati, 74 in Columbus, and down in Steubenville we got 71 and 75 in Athens. So pretty warm across Ohio. But looking into our 7-day is when we're going to really see those severe storms that we were talking about earlier. So tomorrow we are going to have strong scattered storms, but it is going to get up to 80 degrees, which is pretty nice. And according to the National Weather Service, there is potential for these storms to become very severe, and these storms may generate damaging wind gusts, perhaps even tornadoes with hail, and the wind gusts could get up to 35 miles per hour. So definitely be on the lookout tomorrow and be careful if you're going out tomorrow because there are going to be some very strong storms headed our way. On Thursday, those storms will part a little bit and we will just have clouds with the temperature dropping to 54 degrees as the high. As we enter the weekend, you're going to see that these temperatures are going to drop a little bit for Friday and Saturday. It's going to be in the 50s. Sunday, we will get back up into the 60s, and that will continue as we get into next week with Monday and Tuesday, with some PM showers happening on Monday as well. But that is all the weather I have for you tonight. I've been Abby Forbes. Have a great evening, Portage County.
Thank you, Abby. The historic surrender, arrest, and arraignment of former President Donald Trump is playing out in New York City today. CNN's Mike Valerio is in New York with the latest developments and what's ahead now that the grand jury indictment has been unsealed.
Former President Donald Trump walking into his historic arraignment on more than 30 charges related to business fraud. Tuesday's legal proceedings relatively short, but its impact on American history seismic, unprecedented. Trump is now the first ever former or sitting president to be criminally charged. The charges center on a 2016 hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels, facilitated by his then personal lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, who was convicted for his role in that payment and testified to the New York grand jury against his former boss.
Michael Cohen did time for a crime that the federal prosecutors in Manhattan said Donald Trump directed him to do, and it was only for his benefit. And so Michael Cohen did the time. Now it's time for equal justice.
Trump is already looking ahead towards a possible trial, posting Tuesday morning that it should be moved to Staten Island because Manhattan would be, quote, very unfair. Security around the New York City courthouse was ramped up ahead of Tuesday's arraignment, with overall peaceful crowds gathering both for and against Trump, including a brief appearance by one of his most vocal allies on the Hill.
This is the former President of the United States of America. And the government has been weaponized against him.
He is not above the law. He should not be above the law. The analysis of whether or not he is or is not a former president should be irrelevant.
The next step for Trump, back at home at Mar-a-Lago Tuesday night, where his lawyers have said they'll dissect every charge in the now unsealed indictment and plan their defense.
Now when I've got this invitation, it's my great pleasure to deposit with the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Finland's instrument of accession to the North Atlantic Treaty. Please, Secretary Blinken.
Thank you very much.
Finland formally joined NATO today, which was brought on by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Russia is expected to take, quote, countermeasures, which raises the risk of the conflict in Ukraine to escalate further. This event marks the end of an era of strategic non-alignment for Finland that began after the country repelled a Soviet invasion during World War II. Sweden is the next country that is expected to join NATO in the next coming months.
And the US is not the only country that banned TikTok from government devices. Australia joined the US and banned TikTok from all federal government-owned devices over security concerns earlier today. The ban emphasizes the growing concerns that China might be collecting information through the app to advance their political agenda. TikTok said it was extremely disappointed by Australia's decision, calling it, quote, driven by politics, not by facts.
The kid from Akron officially makes it on the Forbes annual World Billionaires list. More details on the king and another one of his achievements.
The Cleveland Guardians played the first of a 3-game series against the Athletics in Oakland. All this and more after the break.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Forbes has released its annual World Billionaires list, and 2 top athletes reached the milestone, LeBron James and Tiger Woods. They are massively well paid both on the court and the green, and also with endorsements.
Forbes says both men have used their earnings to build impressive investment portfolios. There are also several new billionaires who own sports teams. Forbes says though the stock market has been volatile, values and earnings in the sports world show no signs of slowing down. Now, Nuried, you know that LeBron is my favorite player of all time, especially since he was with the Cavs for such a long time and brought that championship here in 2016.
Yeah, I know. How do you feel about being on the Forbes Billionaires list?
That's wild. That is wild. But speaking of the Cavs,
Speaking of the Cavs and basketball and
Exactly.
LeBron James.
Yep, the Cavs play tonight.
The Cavs play tonight,
They
and I'm
do.
so excited.
Now, we're going to take it over to Michael Neenan for more in sports. What's going on, Michael?
How's it going, Portage County? This beautiful day is about to get even better because now we get to talk about sports. Let's jump right in because starting things off, this evening the Kent State baseball team travels to Columbus to take on Ohio State. The Flashes won 2 out of 3 games at home against Toledo last weekend to improve to 18-9 overall. And we'll take a 1-game break from conference play against the 13-13 Buckeyes. The game started at 6, so let's see how the Flashes are doing. Now, as you can see, it is tied at 0-0 at the top of the second. It goes to 7 innings, so the game will go on for a little bit. But be sure to check in on the game and on the Flashes on Big Ten Plus if you are able to. Now, let's move on to those Cavaliers because the Cleveland Cavaliers play game number 80 on the road against the Orlando Magic for the first of a 2-game series between both teams. The Cavs are coming off a win against the Indiana Pacers and have the opportunity to lock up a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference, provided the New York Knicks lose to the Pacers tomorrow night. The tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock. Be sure to catch the game on Bally Sports Ohio. And now let's take a look at the Cleveland Guardians, who are taking on the Oakland Athletics. Starting off in the bottom of the second, Jace Peterson. He hits a dinger that bounces off the State Farm sign for a 3-run home run. The Athletics take a 6-2 lead. Now, let's jump to the top of the 8th. Jose Ramirez hits to right field, and right fielder Connor Capel fails to get the ball. Stephen Kwan, he scores. Jose Ramirez, he makes it all the way to third base for a triple. The Guards, they lead 9-8. And Josh Bell, what a nice guy he is. He takes one for the team as he hits to left field. Seth Brown makes the catch. He throws to home plate, but Jose Ramirez makes it in time to score to put the Guards up 10-8. Now at the bottom of the 9th, Seth Brown, his team needed him to do something. He hits a 2-run home run to tie the game at 10-all. To extra innings we go. The top of the 10th, Jose Ramirez, he singles to right field, and Stephen Kwan scores his 3rd run of the night to put the team up by 1. And at the bottom of the 10th, Tony Kemp, he hits to Stephen Kwan, who makes the easiest catch of his life, and the Guards would go on to win 12-11. They're currently 4-1 on the season. And that's all I have for today. Be sure to follow our socials at TV2 KSU Sports for all sports-related updates within the area. I'm Michael Neenan, and let's get right back to the news.
If you enjoy orange juice for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, crack it open to celebrate this National Day.
Welcome back. Many new movies are getting announced these days, one of which is a Disney fan favorite looking to recreate a live-action version of the film.
CNN's David Daniel can tell you more about it in today's Hollywood Minute.
We are so excited and happy to announce that a live-action reimagining of Moana is in the works.
Dwayne Johnson went back to Hawaii to announce he'll return as the demigod Maui in a live-action version of the animated hit Moana. He'll also be a producer on the film, which is in development. Johnson says he's proud of his Pacific Islander heritage, including his late grandfather, a wrestler known as the Flying Hawaiian.
When I bring Maui to life, I'm doing it in the spirit of my grandfather.
I've seen things I can't explain.
Indiana Jones is heading to Cannes. The world premiere of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is set for May 18th at the Cannes Film Festival. The final installment of the iconic movie franchise is due in theaters June 30th.
I think he likes me.
What the?
Host acquired.
Who said that? It's okay, it's gonna be okay!
Alien biotech turns a young man into Blue Beetle. Xolo Maridueña takes on the title role in the first solo movie for a Latino superhero. Blue Beetle soars into theaters to protect Palmera City August 18th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Nice choice.
Is anyone craving oranges? Well, if that's the case, you're in luck, since today is National Vitamin C Day. Vitamin C helps people ward off colds, reduce blood pressure, and even lower the risk of heart disease. It can also keep your skin healthy by protecting it from sunlight, heat, and pollution. So I know it is not quite morning, but why not have a glass of orange juice tonight to keep you healthy? About the movies.
I am so excited to see live-action Moana.
Me too. I'm such a big fan of Moana.
Yes.
I love her so much. When I watched the movie, I was obsessed, totally obsessed.
And I'm excited. I hope that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes back to play Maui. He hinted at it.
I honestly think he is, because he announced it on his social media, so he
Fingers crossed.
should. Yeah,
Fingers
I think
crossed
should.
he does. But are you an Indiana Jones fan? Because I'm really excited to see
No,
that.
but that looks really exciting,
Yeah.
really interesting. So I don't know, I'm really
We'll have to
excited about
see.
that. Well, what can I say except that's all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, follow us on all social media at Kent Wired and visit our website at kentwired.com. I'm Josh Aponte.
And I've been Nuried. Have a great night, Portage County.